Cole Rogers of Fightability and Rustin Hughes of Be Bold join us to talk about the combat arts, specifically their game Jiu-Jitsu, and their upcoming seminar, and how you, the listener, can get into this game and receive the notable benefits and also build a community that lasts a lifetime. So tune in.
Through that tragedy taught me life is finite. You really have a short window to take what it is from life that you want and enjoy it.
You can go back to that day, February 18th, 1990, and change what happened. My honest answer is I wouldn't change it.
You're just going to have to go through it, and your strength is going to be found in simply going through it and being authentic and real in the process.
I was talking with my buddy, the care doctor, today, and she turned around to me and she looked at me and she was like, do you think that you'll eventually beat this? And I was sort of like, yeah, that's probably what I'm trying to do.
No, nothing will ever take away the pain of my daughter not being here. It's my reality.
Well, I know what my body's going to do to me. I've got a wheelchair in my future. You know what I've been looking for?
What's that?
One with off-road wheel.
Just remembering me as I am, happy and energetic and full of life, no matter what.
You can expect life to kick you in the teeth, but you always get back up, no matter what, and you just keep going.
Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Scott Davidson, and just so you know, you can find out more about Living Adaptive and previous shows, context for guests, and a bunch of other good stuff at livingadaptive.com. Go there. All right, so we got Rustin Hughes of Be Bold and Cole Rogers of Fightability here. They've teamed up, they've partnered up, and we're going to hear what they're doing with a seminar out at the American Top Team in Portland, Oregon on November 2nd. You guys partnered up and you've been kind of competing together for a while now. How'd you guys connect?
Well, I found out about all the para-jiu-jitsu stuff that I got involved with through Rustin originally. So I have Rustin to thank for kind of getting involved with all the competitive side of the stuff, which then kind of led us down some of the roads that we're going down now.
We actually first met in Copper Mountain. I was putting on an adaptive TRX clinic through another nonprofit called No Barriers. And Cole was like a keynote speaker, I believe, for that summit. And we just kind of connected. And then I broke out some boxing gloves and we did some boxing. And Cole was showing me some of his ways that he was throwing strikes. And from there, we've just continuously grew. Cole came out and did a clinic with Be Bold. We did a self-defense clinic. And then him and I have traveled around the world doing our para-jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you guys have traveled around the world. You've competed on the biggest stages, You've been putting that out for some time, and now you're going to use your knowledge and you're going to go out there and start running some seminars together. What do you expect to accomplish when you kick off this seminar in Portland on November 2nd at American Top Team?
We're going to show everybody that jiu-jitsu is for everybody and that anybody can partake in this sport, and even how much it parallels life. It's good to get comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And then, I think that there's just so much that can be learned through, jiu-jitsu. And
one thing that should be noted is that you guys don't just impart knowledge when it comes to the combat arts. You don't just advocate for, say, the everyday athlete, the adaptive athlete, the able athlete, but you also work in the mental game too, man. You've got mindset stuff going on in there. What kind of stuff do you plan to impart? What kind of empowerment do you have like a snippet you can share with us that you plan to introduce there?
Well, Rustin and I have been kind of almost having like private conversations in a sense for years about these different philosophies and these different principles almost that drive, like you were saying, parallel. They drive both our fighting styles and our lifestyles. And I think that what we're going to try to achieve in a sense through this seminar is kind of bridging some of those conversations and some of those talks that we've had that have felt really organic to us and that have been really natural, and we've really felt like we've kind of been on a similar wavelength. We're going to try to make a lot of those principles and things that we talk about that do motivate us and help us get through tough situations. We're going to try to put a lot of that out there and just let people understand what we're about and kind of some of these things that we've been talking and thinking about in a sense for years.
Now, when you say that you're going to be incorporating some of these things you thought about for years, this seminar is November 2nd, but I kind of have some inside knowledge that you guys aren't just stopping at this seminar. What are your plans in the future?
I recently kind of partnered up more directly with Rustin's nonprofit Be Bold, where I was taken on to their board, and we're going to try to introduce a whole new part of his nonprofit, and I'll kind of let Rustin describe what that's going to be a little bit more about.
Well, I think what we were at this point, we had one of our pioneers of the sport. He passed away a couple weeks ago, and we really wanted to use his memory as this fire to start this United States Para Jiu-Jitsu team. And we're going to umbrella it under Be Bold. And we're going to start, a United States Para Jiu-Jitsu team, which we're super excited about, having Cole come onto the board. We also have another lady named Rachel, who speaks Portuguese, which is going to be, so huge to have her. She's already speaking with El Serle, the head guy in Brazil of the UAE. There's just a lot of really, really good things that are happening right now. There is a kind of a blueprint model that the Brazilians have. I believe the last count that El Serle was saying is they have roughly around 1,000 para jiu-jitsu fighters, which is amazing. And then hopefully that we can take kind of their blueprints and then translate it into the United States. And we're looking, we got a lot of big things planned once all of these pieces kind of fall into place. And that should be happening really soon.
Now, you mentioned your friend passed. That's a super tragic situation for the jiu-jitsu world, the adaptive world. So much was lost there. And we've hit on it a little bit offline, but how much did your friend mean to you? When it came to this, to what you're doing, how much did your friend mean to you, Cole and Rustin?
Well, I feel so. Our friend Ronald Mann, in a sense, kind of paved the way. He was the first para athlete from America to go to Abu Dhabi and compete. And in a sense, he was kind of the one that brought us all together. I found out about the whole para thing from Rustin, but Rustin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was somehow either not through Ron but maybe via Ron somehow that you got involved with the UAE stuff as well, correct?
Yeah, it was Thomas Gwen. Got a hold of me. He's just like, hey, you need to get a hold of Ron, and I think anybody and everybody that's ever been a part of martial arts in the adaptive world knows Ron. They've been influenced by Ron, seen Ron compete, have talked to him through Facebook or in person.
Yep. And so what we're kind of feeling like is that, and similar message from Brazil, because Ron was so close to everyone, all the para pioneers over there in Brazil, was that everyone felt a bit lost when they heard that Ron passed away, because a lot of us, in a sense, were looking up to Ron as a leader because he brought so many people in para jiu-jitsu in the United States and around the world together, that we almost, in a sense, were being a bit lazy, letting him kind of do some of the work. And when Ron unexpectedly passed away, it was like, okay, all this energy that he's put forth and this huge thing that he started to create, we can't just let that die out. So now we're really just trying to step up to the plate and bring his vision into the next step. Because when you look back and you listen to Ron's words and you hear how passionate he was about this whole movement and about para jiu-jitsu, it's, undeniable that if anyone could be that passionate about something, it's undeniable that that thing shouldn't blow up and help influence other people's lives as well. So that's what we're trying to do now, is just honor Ron and hopefully, like we were saying, use his memory as a fire to light the fuel of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's an amazing mission that you have, and it's very driven on a very valuable individual that left early, and it adds so much fire to the importance of what you guys do. So you guys, when you undertake this, you're not stopping, at these seminars and so forth. We're going to start to see you hit other media outlets, meaning that you guys will start to share video content we're expecting and things like that. When do you think that might kick off?
So I'm thinking, and Rustin can chime in as well, but I'm thinking that what we're going to do is we're going to use Portland as basically a launching point for all these other things that we're trying to accomplish. So, I mean, there's kind of different aspects of jiu-jitsu like anything else. And so we're not just trying to focus on one aspect. Our large goal is for not only more competition to be available, but more training opportunities. As you were just kind of stating, more training resources, whether that's online, videos, articles, publications, things that, anyone in any situation can not have to go through, let's say, all the battles that we had to go through as maybe kind of quote unquote the first people that did this thing in this particular situation. We want to cut some of that work out for people, and we just want to make jiu-jitsu as accessible as possible for everyone out there, no matter where they are, no matter what their situation is.
Now, to jump in real quick, a lot of people have heard your interviews. Those that are listening to this podcast right now, this episode, a lot of people have heard your interviews, and but there are listeners that are going to be new, and just to fill them in, where you two are coming from, Rustin, Hughes. Many people watch your highlight, hip tossing the shit out of some dude on the mat, and hearing your speech about how you got to take care of it and go grab it for yourself. But there's a whole background to you, man. You have an adaptive story. Can you give like a 1-minute description of where you're coming from in the adaptive world?
Yeah, I lost my leg at 40 years old. I'm an above the knee amputee. Before I was in mixed martial arts, and then boxing, MMA. And after I lost my leg, my good friend Ryan Schultz owns a gym, Trials Martial Arts, in Fort Collins. And, I was in a wheelchair and I was really depressed. And I contacted him and, said, hey, can you just pick me up? And he took me to the gym. And while he's coaching class, I would hit the heavy bag and realize just how beneficial that it was for me. And if it could be beneficial for me, it could be beneficial for a lot of other people. And not only could I do that with my prosthetic, but I would also do it in a wheelchair. And then I was just like, wow, this is, there's something here, and then, from that, there's been a lot of stuff that happened, but we started Be Bold, a nonprofit, helping people with disabilities through adaptive sports. And we really use boxing as one of those sports. Actually, this weekend, we're going to introduce our first adaptive grappling session at Trials. And I even want to call it, like a just movement class. What I love about jiu-jitsu is I get to put my prosthetic leg and it sits on the side of the wall. But, what we've tried to do is just empower people through sports, martial arts. And then I think a lot of times people realize that we can find all these different abilities in our disability, find these advantages in our disadvantages.
And then for Cole Rogers, you have your own story of fightability. And prior to that, what's your adaptive story, man?
Yes, sir. Well, I was born with a disability. I have fused joints, and every joint in my body is fused, which means that my arms, they don't bend at the elbows. They're kind of locked straight, and my knees are kind of locked in a seated position. So as you can imagine, I've used a wheelchair my whole life, and so I've always had to kind of adapt to any situation that I was put into. And from a very early age, I've always liked martial arts and kung fu movies and action and things like that. But I just thought that, unfortunately, due to my situation, those things weren't going to be for me. But lucky enough, I was approached by a martial arts instructor when I was in about 8th grade. That was 2008. And he said, hey, I think I can work with you. And it kind of created a little spark within me that never left. And I, growing up, after that fact, kind of becoming in a sense, pretty early on, a martial arts wanderer almost, who went kind of to all the different gyms in the area, trained in a lot of different types of martial arts. I noticed that there was this big lack of accessibility within the martial arts. There was kind of a pushback against me, coming to a lot of these gyms in certain cases, or people would not know how to handle me or not know how to work with me because of my unique situation. And so it kind of gave me this idea that I'd like to create at some point or another a company that would make self-defense or martial arts more accessible. And all that kind of got kicked into overdrive when I started posting videos of myself online, and through YouTube, I started connecting with different people, and pretty soon everyone was encouraging me to do it. And so I just kind of went all in and started focusing all my time into my company, Fightability, which I subsequently created from that message and idea.
So, Rustin and Cole, we haven't talked in a bit. Since that time, Rustin, you went out to Nubability, and Cole, you've been participating in other organizations too. Rustin, how was that experience with Nubability?
That was life-changing. That was, I really didn't really know what to expect. And I think it changed. I think I learned more from that time than those kids did. It was just an amazing experience to be a part of that, to see kids want to take it to the next level. And what was really cool is that you've seen examples of college athletes, professional athletes with limb differences, and they were making it happen.
Now, before we wrap this up, to get to your seminar, to be part of the seminar, what do people have to do? And if they can't be there in person, how can they take part in some other way?
Well, the seminar itself, we have our seminar coming up. Our next event is going to be in Portland, Oregon on November 2nd at the American Top Team Portland Gym. However, this is just the beginning of something huge. We are we are establishing a team in America for para-jiu-jitsu that is going to give its athletes the opportunity to travel all around the world, be part of something bigger than themselves, and form friendships and bonds that will last the rest of their lives. And we see that as kind of the ultimate mission, is the family and things that we create from doing this. So if you're wanting to get involved and you don't happen to be somewhere that you see, quote unquote, on our calendar at the moment, please reach out to us, drop us a line, tell us your story, tell us where you're from. More than likely, we'll be able to do something for you. We will be able to put you in contact with someone that can train, or we'll come out and see you and get you on the map, because we just want to encourage everyone and help everyone reach their full potential.
Yeah, it's so exciting to see what's going to happen with this coming up in the future. Having Portland as our kind of a launching pad. I'm really excited to see what's coming.
Now, before I let you go, who's been added to the para-jiu-jitsu game? A name that may not have received much notice in the past, now is starting to make some waves.
Ryan Wallace. Ryan is, I don't know the technical. He's like an above the knee amputee. I think he still has the top part of his kneecap. But he is a wrestling coach at Lake Tahoe. He competed with us in LA. He's going to be with us in Portland, and his last two competitions, and I think even he's been competing against able-bodied people and just destroying them. He's an amazing person. He's a part of our crew. Ryan, and also Jess Munter. She is kind of a part of the crew that we got going on there in Portland. She's up in Washington, and she is a beast as well. She was with us in Abu Dhabi. She was with us in LA last year as well.
Those are two incredible names to look out for in the jiu-jitsu game. And we'll get to see, I believe those two will actually be at your seminar. So we'll get to see some content with them and see this new gen pop up that you guys are helping to cultivate. It's really great to sit down and talk with you guys for a bit. We're going to continue to follow your journey. And I love seeing this duo, this partnership coming together, and you guys are now hitting the road. And I think people are very lucky. They're going to see some pretty great things happening. So thank you.
Thank you, Scott. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks so much, Scott. Thanks for having us.
Remember, go to livingadaptive.com to find previous episodes, show notes, contacts for guests like this guest, links to social media accounts, and a bunch of other good stuff. So go there. Peace.